Hi everyone, Ravenna from Triple Moon Goddess 88 here. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me today. Channeled message for the day is about checking in with you guys to see how you're doing. I know it's been a pretty full-on week all round. There's been a lot happening energetically, and I'm not sure how everyone's doing, but I know a lot of people have been feeling it. You might be feeling like, tired, worn out, emotional, whether that be, feeling heavy or quick to react, either start crying or quick to anger. Out of nowhere, and you just don't know where it's coming from. You might be feeling fine one moment and then feeling really down or angry or emotional the next, and no idea why. Some people may be feeling pressure around their head or headaches. What else? Fluctuations. I just keep getting fluctuations. So universe is just wanting you to know that there is a lot energetically going on their side of things as well, and that the people that are getting a lot of energetic sort of fluctuations, especially with the pressure and or headaches around the head, that there are a lot of downloads happening. You may know this already, but there are a lot of downloads happening at the moment that might be under the surface that they're not ready to reveal to you yet. It also could have a lot to do with the blue moon last week and the shifts that I mentioned a couple of times last week about things bubbling to the surface and truth being revealed, and so it's all to do with that shifting and everything needing to sort of come out, or you're integrating the new. So universe is asking you guys to check in with yourself, and with doing the self-care stuff, but also there's something going on with the solar plexus chakra, and there might be things either shifting and bubbling to the surface with that, or you may be aware and be working on that. So, if you've been going through the emotional roller coaster, these are some things that you may need to be aware of. So, if you're finding yourself being indecisive, if you find that you're lacking boundaries or not standing in your boundaries, if you're not able to set them and hold them, if you've got no motivation at the moment, you're just feeling a lack of motivation, if you're finding yourself needing to control things in an unhealthy way, whether it be decisions or other people or outcomes. I know this has been a bit of a thing for myself with the, needing to move but not knowing which direction to go, and sort of trying to do things without. I know universe is working on something in the background. I have no idea what that is, and they're teaching me patience and asking me to be patient, and then they will direct me when the time is right. But it's that needing to know needing to do things to try and control it the way I perceive things in my head. And I am working really hard on surrendering and releasing and letting universe do what it needs to do its job. So that's something that you might want to look at. It also could be, you're finding lately that you're lacking in confidence. That could be an ongoing issue for some time, for whatever reason, but you're finding it's coming to the surface. Self-esteem, the emotions, fear, sadness, anger, grudges could be coming to the surface. Impulsive, reckless behaviour, reckless decisions, especially those sorts of things that are done in the heat of the moment through emotions. The behaviour, emotional-based decisions that are reactions and not grounded thinking. Insecurities, obsessing about things, low energy, feeling negative energy, the scarcity and lack thinking, the unworthiness thinking, all of those sort of things that have always sort of held you back or have been a major factor in those, unhealed factors that have guided you throughout your entire life. So that's the sort of things that they're asking you to look at. So, and then on the opposite side of it, if it is something you're aware of, when you've got a grounded, cleared, healed solar plexus chakra, you make clear decisions from a strong foundation, from a grounded and very clear mindset. You can set boundaries and hold them. You have the confidence and the self-esteem to move forward with things that you have been afraid to sort of do. Whether the answer is yes or no, whether the outcome is what you want or not, you still have the confidence to go ahead and do that, because it's our fears that hold us back. They're saying something about being able to stand in your boundaries, and this is something I have been working on myself as well, that when you set those boundaries and you get kickback and a reaction that's very negative back at you because you've set those boundaries, as a former people pleaser, I would back off because I didn't want the confrontation. I didn't want the fight. I didn't want so I was doing myself an injustice by doing that. That was the unhealed part of myself that I needed to heal. And once I learnt that I needed to not just set my boundaries, but I needed to stand in them, that was the truest form of self-love I could give myself. The not backing down. And it's not about, standing up and fighting. It's standing firm in your boundaries. No, this is not acceptable. I will not accept this. This is not okay. And just standing firm. Just stand in it. Stand in it. and hold it. Don't back down. If you've got boundaries for a reason, especially if they're healthy boundaries. There is, and if you're trying to set boundaries with someone that you've never held boundaries for or doesn't know boundaries, it's very important for yourself because it's empowering. And it's not only that, it's you don't hold your boundaries, it eats you up, and it eats you up mentally, emotionally, physically. It can manifest in, other ways, ailments in your body, external factors, because you're not living and being true to who you are. So having the clear, grounded boundaries, you find yourself motivated. You find yourself, having that clear solar plexus, that grounded solar plexus chakra is, because people do lose motivation at times, sometimes for a long time. But if you've cleared and healed those parts of yourself, you find that motivation coming back in small little ways to start with. And then as you're going on and you find that you're making clear decisions, you're standing in your boundaries, you find yourself going in positive directions, that all builds up. It builds up your motivation, it builds up your self-worth, it builds up, your foundations, it builds up your belief in yourself. And that in turn amplifies the positive things that you've done for yourself. You're not feeling as tired and worn out. You're not feeling like you can't trust your decisions anymore. And that's where your gut instinct and your intuition sort of starts to go, yay, they're listening, and they start to give you more, and you start to believe more. You start to believe in yourself more. You start to trust yourself more, and trust that the decisions you make are for you, not for other people. You're standing your ground. You're setting those boundaries that, no, I know what's good for me. I thank you for your input, but this is the decision I'm going with. Those sorts of firm sort of belief in yourself. Another thing that they're asking me to talk about is the spiritual hygiene side of things. And especially at the moment with all these downloads and all this energy all over the place at the moment, it's felt, universally, it's pretty crazy at the moment. Excuse me. So they, especially with the solar plexus chakra, they're looking at, the grounding, of course, but the solar plexus chakra, for those that don't know, sit just above your belly button. It's the chakra between your heart chakra and your sacral chakra, which is just under your belly button. And this is the sun. So they're asking you, or fire. So they're asking you to, get out in the sun if you can. If you can't, then, getting around some sort of fire, even if it's a candle flame, and absorbing the energy of that candle or that sun, feeling it all the way to your bones, sort of thing. They're also talking about meditation, clearing, cleansing meditation, protection meditation, meditation for lifting your energy if you're feeling like you've been lacking energy. So there's some good meditations. I think I have one on my public playlist, but I do also have meditations for all sorts of things, for cleansing, clearing. I think one of the first meditations I have on there is an energy clearing, and that's energy clearing and protection. I can't remember the name of it, but she is absolutely wonderful with clearing and cleansing and protecting all your chakras. I do that one nearly every day unless I'm guided to do something else. Every morning, that's one of my ones, so that's a good one to do. They're also asking you to have a look at what you're ingesting, and that's not just food, so they're asking you to eat healthier. They'll find, they're saying that the healthier you eat, the more your energy and your vibration raises. But they're also asking you to look at what you're watching, what you're listening to, what you're reading. So news, social media, movies, shows, conversations. This is a big one. Conversations that you are having with other people, or people are having around you. If it's negative conversations, dark conversations, yes, have the conversations about the stuff that's going on around the world, but not feed into it. Not trying to steer the conversation if that's becoming the only topic people talk about. And going down that rabbit hole, and that's the sort of things that they're asking you to be aware of. Also, they're asking you to be aware of conversations you're having about people. Whether it's gossiping or bullying type conversations, degrading and putting people down. Negative comments about people. They're just asking you to be aware that that's the energy that you're putting out. And that your perception of someone, yes, it's your perception and you have a right to your own opinion. But at the same time, they're asking you to be aware that that negative energy that you're talking out into the universe is not helping the energies that are around at the moment. They're also asking that how you think, especially if it's in a loop. The mind chatter, the negative mind space, even talking and thinking about yourself in negative ways, especially that downward spiral of negative thinking, guilt, regret, projecting negative thoughts towards someone else or things or universe in general, whatever that is, and trying to find a way of redirecting and thinking about something else and consciously doing that. I've found myself, and I've used this for many years, so anyone who watched my reading yesterday about depression and not being in a good place, I would previously find when I was spiraling, I would have to consciously tell myself, sometimes out loud, but mainly in my head, stop. You need to stop and try and think of something else. That was a mindfulness technique that I found very useful over the years, and it's a practice I still use. Sometimes not always successful, so I have to go to other mindfulness techniques, but that is a big one to divert the attention on whatever downward spiral negative thinking that I was in. and change direction, because it doesn't help. It brings your vibration down, it brings your energy down, it brings your mood and your mindset down. So bringing that back up in some way, it really, really does help. They're also asked, I mentioned the clean eating before, trying to eat as healthily as possible, limiting, alcohol, substances in your body, processed foods with a lot of preservatives in them, and just eating as cleanly as you can, as you that is viable for your lifestyle as well, I guess. But just making better choices as to what you are eating. That will really help with the energetic vibration in your body as well, and your health, because that's really important at the moment as well, with all this energy going a bit crazy. So they're also talking about setting boundaries in your personal life, in your own home space, in your bed. I know this sounds weird, but for a lot of people that like to have a lot of different people in their bed, then setting those boundaries and cleansing that space, because you don't know what energy they have, you don't know what energy they're bringing into your home, but also with that intimate exchange. So I'm just trying to word this right for YouTube. Usually I'd just be straight to the point. So I'm just trying to, word it correctly so I don't get in trouble. So when you have those exchanges, it's not just, they have this person in your home and you have to cleanse after they leave. It's a lot more deeper and more intimate than that. And it's not just them being in your space. You're exchanging energy. And those energies, you don't know what they're bringing into your home. You don't know what they're bringing into you while you are having those intimate moments with those people. So universe is just asking you to be a bit more aware and a bit more mindful about what you are bringing into your sacred space, because you are a sacred space. They're also asking you to not hold everything in. So journaling. And if you're not a journaler, then speaking it to the universe, record it, and then delete it. Whether that's a voice recording or a video recording. Whether it's speaking to a therapist, speaking to a friend, it's just speaking it out to universe. Whatever way that, if you're, as I said, if you're, yesterday I thought, whatever it was, if you're creative, finding a creative way to get that out. They're saying that right now, with everything that's going on, everything needs to be released. Everything needs to come out as it comes, like as you're feeling it. That's the whole point of it. Limiting or removing toxic people, situations, places. Limiting that or removing if you can. Putting up those energetic protective boundaries. Protective shields, all that sort of stuff is very important at the moment as well. And if you can, regular healing, whether that's through a meditation, whether you are able to go and see someone who can actually do some healing, but you can heal yourself. That's getting out in nature, going down to the beach. I'm actually going to do a video a little later about energetic protection and ways that you can do that. So it'll be separate from my daily readings and the spiritual journey lessons. This will be more like a little masterclass, you could say. So I'm going to do that a little later for anyone that's interested. Bringing up your energy is important at the moment as well. So in whatever way you can do that, whether it's being creative, chucking on some high vibrational music and dancing it out, shaking it if you can't dance, just shaking up the body in whatever way. Moving your room around, or some furniture around to shift the energy if there's any stagnant energy, and cleansing your space. Making your protection rituals or your energetic vibration, lifts ups, saying affirmations, whatever helps you lift that energy or ground that energy, make it a daily practice. Make it a daily practice. Just like brushing your teeth, doing your protections first thing in the morning, doing your protections last thing of the night, make it part of your life, not just something that you think of doing every now and then. Working on that solar plexus, and if we're always working on ourselves anyway, but really sort of looking at all the little things that we can do to raise our vibrations and keep that solar plexus chakra as balanced as possible right now, because we need to concentrate on making decisions, our outward energetic frequency and vibration as high as possible, as high as we can, while all this turbulence and shifting is happening. I know a lot of people have been feeling it, so this is for them. But anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it at that for today. Please remember that I will never reach out to you in any way, shape, or form. I will never ask you for money. I will never ask you for to do a reading or anything like that. So if you would like to book a personal reading, my info is in the description, the bios and all that sort of stuff. And it's only through email at this moment. So I will eventually do a website once I learn how to do one. But anyway, I will never reach out to you in any way, shape or form. Delete, block, report, whatever you need to do. That's just know it's not me. On that note, please follow, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Really helps the channel get out there, and I really appreciate the people that do watch. And I will see you all soon. So